All right, hello everybody. I am very hesitant to do this because I am not a social media person. If you know me, you know I love to take a good picture any moment, any day, but just posting and talking on social media, I'm not as comfortable. Even when me and Willie are doing our podcast, it's not my preferred lane, if you will. But I feel like of all the times, of all my stories, of all the things, like I recently wrote my book. I'm starting my RaiStone Retreats, and I'm going into using my very first degree, which is psychology, and working towards that. I have left education in the sense of teaching high school. I was a high school science teacher for a really long time, taught chemistry, biology, been an assistant principal, department chair, you name it. But I've left that world to pursue my own company called RaiStone Retreats. And so I'm going down my lane to do my psychology master's, and then preferably PhD eventually, which was always the goal. So originally I always wanted to do I wanted to become a psychiatrist. Well, that's not true. So originally I actually wanted to become a writer, which hence me releasing my first book. But I wanted to write films and stories that all dealt with psychology topics, like around trauma in childhood. And I just felt like people didn't know. I love John Singleton's line, either they don't know or don't show what's going on in the hood, because I just felt like people didn't know. So very interesting to me always, but all in the same realm. Even when I taught chemistry, I didn't teach chemistry, I taught students, if that makes sense. But why am I making this journey, or why am I going to post this? Because I am starting Zepbound. Well, I have started Zepbound. Today is actually my second week. I will do a shot later on tonight. It is 5:36 p.m. on Thursday, December 11th, and I took my first shot last week. I did not have that many symptoms, and today I take my second shot this afternoon. So I just wanted to record it. I always feel like I have sister locks, and I always feel like I should have probably done a journey with that. It's been 5 years, but I didn't. And so I always look back, but this one feels really important to do because of why I think I'm doing Zepbound. I'm not just doing it to lose weight. I had the gastric sleeve in 2021. I did Weight Watchers when I was 27 and lost weight. I've lost weight running and working out because I love working out. I love the gym. I tried out for the police department and the FBI, and so in order to do that, you had to run 1.5 miles in a certain time, and that made me get cut up really good. But I always gained it back. And that brings me to my Zepbound journey. And the reason I'm doing it now is because I finally realized that, and I'm sure a lot of people may say, yeah, they knew that, but hormonally, I have never been okay. And so one of the reasons I keep gaining the weight back is because hormonally I'm not okay. I do not eat a lot at all. Like, my calorie intake is insanely low, but I have just never lost the weight, or I gain it back. If I do lose it, if I'm working out actively, my body responds really well. And I have a very active life. If you know me, I am insanely active. I'm talking about most days is like 5 a.m. till 12 p.m. most nights, almost every single night, 6-7 days a week sometimes. So I have a very active life. But this new journey, I'm almost 50 years old, and this new journey is about my mental health. I recently lost my sister, and I lost my mother 2 years ago. And a lot of the things that I ran from, which is what my book is about, my memoir, but a lot of things I ran from, I thought I healed. And don't get me wrong, I'm highly educated and like processing and thinking. And so you do think you're making these steps, but I have just realized there's so many things I just have not healed. And because of that, it didn't matter how many times I lost the weight, I was going to keep gaining it back. So when I started studying Zepbound and the GLPs and about how they're about your hormone regulation, and how I have cortisol from built-in trauma from my own childhood, and then when my part 2 book comes out, you'll see from my own marriage and my own life just how I responded to my trauma without properly healing. And so for me, Zepbound is now a healed woman, or healing. Let me not jump the gun. A healing woman going on this weight loss journey. So I am going to bring you guys on this journey with me. I'm going to try to post once a week and share and talk to you. And as I go along, maybe the topics will get longer and shorter, but this is just really me committing to doing it. So this video is really just, I'm gonna do it. I am very pleased with where I am right now in life. So it's just that, it's that I don't know if that just showed up. A call just came in and I hit X. I'm so new to this, but I'm very pleased and thankful to where God has me right now. I know that nothing is on accident. I've always known that my whole life. And it's like, if you had told me I'd be here now, I wouldn't have believed it, but not in a bad way, in a sense that the amount of things that happen, and I'm always optimistic. If you know me, I'm too optimistic. It's insane how optimistic I am. It's a curse almost, honestly. But I feel so aligned and blessed in all of the things, all of the traumas that I've created, lived through, been through, all of it. And so right now, starting the Zepbound feels really intentional, and I want to share that with you. This is me, no makeup. I'm just lighting. I don't know if I turn that on, will it make it better? But no makeup, hair not done. I have been doing my own retightenings, and needless to say, only the front gets done, and my back is probably about 3-4 inches of new growth, so I really need to do it. So hair not done, face nothing on it. Not that I'm a big makeup person, but this is just me, natural completely. So I will show full body later on because I got this big old hoodie on sitting in the car, but I will show more when I add to this video. Yeah, I also think this is just technical. Should I turn the camera this way? I feel like that's better, but I'm sitting here holding it like that. So sorry if I just gave you a dizzy headache, but I am sitting at the golf course waiting on my spouse to come out because we share one car. We always have. So that'll trip you out when I tell you about some of the things we do. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah, so tonight, last time I took the shot at 10:50 because I was nervous about my body's reaction to it, but very thankful I'm on 2.5. And let me tell you that, I can tell you that right now. I started with the company Ro first, because they would let me use my HSA card up front. And I also looked at Weight Watchers, and I'm familiar with Weight Watchers. It's like I have a love for Weight Watchers because I've been there, done that. Like, I've done them twice and been very successful, and their point system works. So I started with Ro, but the first dose of Ro, I ordered it the Thanksgiving week, and the first one got messed up because of Thanksgiving, so they had to send it back because it was going to be more than 2 days. And then the next one they sent, I was going to be out of town, so then I just was like, so then I went with Weight Watchers, and they delivered it to a Walmart for me so I could pick it up, because like I said, our schedule is 6 to 11 p.m. so with that kind of schedule, it could be sitting outside, I could be out of town, who knows. So being able to pick it up at Walmart on my time and they make it right there, it was much better for me. So I went with Weight Watchers, and it actually ended up cheaper. I pay $49 a month for a Weight Watcher subscription, but I just upgraded to the $74 for the whole year, I think, for Weight Watchers. I haven't used any of the other benefits just yet because, again, it's literally been 1 week, but I signed up for that. And then I pay, the medicine was $2.99, and I am not working, so I don't have insurance, so I'm literally just using my HSA card for my husband's job. So it's $2.99 a month right now at the 2.5, and I believe when I go to 5 it'll be $3.49, so still not horrible. I was diagnosed with diabetes, but I've been pre-diabetic. It's kind of funny too because I've been on metformin and it hasn't touched the numbers. I don't think I'm diabetic. I think all my hormonal issues mimics diabetes, because my numbers have been, my A1C numbers have been 5.9 to 6.1, and they have not changed on metformin. And I really don't eat that much Sugar, definitely, but I am a super, if you know me, I love green vegetables. I have a high amount of energy, and I don't drink coffee. And when people ask me where do I get my energy from, I always say it has to be the amount of green vegetables that we eat, because all of my kids are like me and we eat tons of green vegetables. Like my daughter, if she is hungry, she'll just throw on a bag of Brussels sprouts every single time, and that's her snack. And she'll eat a whole bag of Brussels sprouts. Like that's what her preferred thing is, between that and strawberry ice cream. But that's just what we do. We eat green vegetables. So have a high amount of energy. But I said all that to say, so I was diagnosed with diabetes in 2021, and that's what actually made me have the gastric sleeve surgery, because I was 220 pounds. I'm 5'5". I was 225 pounds, and I was like, I'm not taking pills because I don't like medicine. So I was like, I'm not popping pills for the rest of my life. What can I do? And so I started diet and exercise for like 6 months. It really didn't go much. 5.9, 6.1 stayed the same. I definitely didn't want to do metformin, so I did the gastric sleeve. I lost 60 pounds with the gastric sleeve, like right away. I had it, it was the right after COVID. I had it, my birthday is June. I had it June 14th or somewhere in there, 2021. And I went down by October. I was like 180, so 220 to like 180 by October. Now, my life flipped upside down at that time. So if you name it, it happened to me. And so I gained all the weight back. But that was 2021. I left being a principal. I went back into the classroom at a private school. And that was October. That December, I found out I was pregnant. So you're talking 4 years ago. So I was 44. We have 4 children in my home. So the last thing I wanted to do was be pregnant at 44. But what are you gonna do? It ended up being a blighted ovum. If you don't know what that is, you can Google that and look it up. But it ended up not being a live birth, so I had to go through the full thing of, I ended up losing the baby, having a miscarriage, and going through that. And then I started to take the medicine to fully clean my system out. So that was like December, January. So that kind of stopped my weight loss. And then that February, my mother called me because she thought she was having a stroke, and it was really bad. She lived in Memphis, Tennessee. I had to go get her, go see her. And when I found her, it was horrible. My mother was almost 60 pounds. It was really bad. I couldn't leave her in Memphis. We're not financially wealthy where I could just fly back and forth all the time. So I brought her to Dallas with me, and it ended up really bad. There was a lot more going on than I realized. That'll be in, I'll tell more later, but it was just a whole lot more going on than we realized. I couldn't take care of her at home like I thought. I ended up sending her back to we went to the emergency room. They kept her for like 3 or 4 months. Then they sent her to a nursing home. And then by that July, she came to live with us. And so again, weight loss was just done at this point, because it's chaotic in my home. Everything is different. And I have a lot of childhood trauma that I had never healed from. That when my mother came to live with me, honestly, I didn't know. It just opened the floodgates. I didn't even know what to do. So that was just 2022. Oh, I forgot. January 1st, so New Year's 2022, my husband got COVID. The whole house got COVID, and we had never had COVID before that. So 2022 just opened up a can of whoop butt in my home, and rightfully so. Thankful. You always say you're thankful for God. You just don't even know it. So where was I? July, my mother came to live with us. So that was a very traumatic. Again, weight loss just gone. I wasn't eating bad because my stomach still, right now, my stomach is still very small. I get full after, like, my kids laugh because if they get fries, I can eat 4 of them and my stomach is full. Or if I get a burger, I'm going to get 1 or 2 bites and I'm full. So they laugh because I can't really finish meals. So if I get a meal, that meal could literally last me 2 days because it's like 2 or 3 bites every few hours. But even still, I still gained all the weight back. And so, and I will say, I did not hydrate as well this last 2 years. That first year I did hydrate a lot. I will own that. But protein was still very big in my diet, because if you know, when you have the gastric sleeve, or if you're on Zepbound, protein is like your #1 thing to make sure you don't have loose skin. And I have pretty decent skin, you'll see, because I'll show you my stomach later on. But Fast forward July, mother's living with me, very stressful. I start going to therapy because I am losing my mind. Not that my mother's doing anything wrong. She was diagnosed with dementia. So she doesn't know up and down, and she doesn't know where she's coming. We find her outside sometimes walking, so that's kind of stressful. It's 24-hour care on top of, remember I told you our life was already insanely busy, and the childhood trauma that I thought was closed, the door open. And so it was emotional. So I started going to therapy then. But I just wasn't worried about it. I got it. I'm fine. I'm handling life. It's okay. And then September of that year, 2022, I was working at a private school, and I made my son go to that private school because he was supposed to go to the public school that his other brothers went to. And so my bribe to him was I bought him a dirt bike to, kind of ease the pain of me making him go to this private school with these kids that he doesn't know from the place he had been since he was in kindergarten. And I bought him a dirt bike, and I kid you not, I took him outside and was like, let me show you how to ride it safely. And I immediately broke my leg in 6 places. I'll insert a picture. But I broke my leg in 6 places. So super Wonder Woman, who does all things, Wonder Rounds all things, who's now in therapy, had her weight loss and just trying to handle it all, is really losing it. And not only am I losing it, God made it where I literally couldn't do anything, because I was in a wheelchair for about 6 months. Then I was on a walker for like 3 months, and then a cane for like 9 months, because when you're almost 50, you don't heal as quick. And so, guys, there's no weight loss. That is not the process or even the thought or concern. But again, I am still eating very little. It is just my cortisol level from my life is insane. And all the trauma that I thought I had ignored or dealt with or processed just hit me, just flooded me insanely. I don't even know the words for it. So that's 2020. That was September 2020. And this is all 2022. I'm sorry, 2020. That was September 2022. So this is all 2022. And so then we were just rolling because there's nothing I can do. And so I stayed at home for about a month. And then I went to school working in the wheelchair because financially, really, I can't afford to be at home. And so my mother's still there. We're bouncing back and forth. My husband and I work opposite shifts, so it's kind of okay with my mother. But again, she's 24 hours, so it's okay, but not okay. We did have nurse aides coming in, and then it started taking a turn for the worse. Her health just declined really rapidly. And in November, December, she passed away. So now I'm doing the funeral, I'm planning all that, and it's just me and my sister, and my sister struggling with her own things. And so it's just me and my sister, but it's really just me taking care of my mother. And so then we have the funeral, then we get to 2023, and then my oldest son, gets in trouble legally. And so now we have to deal with that. There's a lot of money, court fees, a lot of things going on. And he's special needs, so it's a different situation and kind of case. But there's just a lot going on, and we have to deal with that. We have to figure that out. Very costly. It cost over $25,000. So you're just talking everything. And then a few months later, my husband lost his job. And so now you're fast forwarding, and things are just crazy.